Welcome guys, I have a simple question for you where we are going to look at how to write the chemical formula and naming each of the following structures. So this question is coming from the topic of organic chemistry, and we can see the heading is the naming of the isomers. Now for those that may want to look into at least a detailed topic of organic chemistry, you can just search for that under my YouTube channel, so you'll be able to find at least that. Now first I'm going to start with what we call the prefix. So the prefix is the first part of the name of a given organic compound, and it tells you the number of carbons present in that compound. So the first one, we have meth. So meth has 1 carbon, eth has 2 carbons, prop has 3 carbons, bute has 4 carbons, pent has 5 carbons, hex 6 carbons, we have hept 7 carbons, oct 8 carbons, non 9 carbons, dec 10 carbons. So it's very important you commit these prefixes to memory. Now away from there, first, before we come up with the naming, first let's identify if the two structures qualifies to be isomers. So isomers, we are looking at organic compounds with the same molecular formula but different different structural formula. So let's look at first the molecular formula, because from the structure we can tell that the two structures are different, so that point is qualified. So now let's look into the chemical formula. So for the first one, this one, I'm going to write C. Then I'm going to count the number of carbon atoms that we have in the first structure. So we have carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can see that we have 5 carbon atoms. Let's check for the other structure. So we'll start with C as well. So carbons, let's count the number of carbons. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we also have 5 carbon atoms. Now we go to the number of hydrogens. So the number of hydrogens for this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 atoms of hydrogen. Let's check for the other structure. So I'm going to count the number of hydrogen. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So even that one has 12 atoms of hydrogen. So these two are isomers because they have the same molecular formula but different structural formula. Now let's begin naming. So when naming, first you need to determine the prefix. So remember, the prefix is the number of carbon atoms. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 carbon atoms. From the list that I gave you, 5 is represented by the pent. Now after that, we need to determine what we call the suffix. So the suffix determines the type of bonds that we have. Is it single bonds? Do we have a double bond or do we have a triple bond? So we can see that between the carbon-carbon bond, we only have single bonds. So the suffix is A and E. So these are alkanes. So to now summarize or finalize our answer, the name is pentane. So you get the prefix, you add the suffix, then you have what we call the name of that particular compound. Now for the other structure, we can see that we have what we call the main chain. So this is the main chain. How do you know that this is the main chain? Because it consists of the more number of carbons. So we have the main chain. So this is our main chain. Then upon identifying the main chain, we can now look into the branched. So this is the branched. So we need to name them separately. Then after that, we are going to combine the name. So I'm going to start with the branching. So for branching, we need to look at how many carbons do we have in the branching. So we can see that we only have one carbon in the branching. And remember, for one carbon, we said it's meth. Then what are we supposed to do after identifying the prefix? The rule is you add the YL. So if meth becomes methyl, propyl, eth, ethyl, butyl. That's a rule. So after we are done naming the branching, we can now go to the main chain. So to the main chain, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms from the main chain. Therefore, the prefix for 4 carbon atoms is but. Now we can see that we have single bonds, so we are going to add the suffix ane. So this becomes methylbutane. Now there is one more last part. So we need to show the number of the locant where the branching is located. So to identify that, I'm going to number. We've numbered from the left going to the right, so I'm going to number from the right going to the left. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So what do we mean by this? So this branching is located on this carbon. So if I count from this side going to this side, the branching is on carbon number 3. Then if I count from the right going to the left, this branching is on carbon number 2. So the rule is if you are getting different numbers, you get the smallest number. So the smallest number is 2. So you need to put the 2. Now to separate a number from the letter, you put the hyphen. So this is the naming of this compound. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.